Attention today, China launch aircraft carrier killer missile to U.S. spy plane in South China Sea. China launched 2 missiles, including an aircraft carrier killer, into the South China Sea on Wednesday morning, a source close to the Chinese military said, sending a clear warning to the United States. The move came one day after China said a US U-2 spy plane entered a no-fly zone without permission during a Chinese live-fire naval drill in the Bohai Sea off its north coast. One of the missiles, a DF-26B, was launched from the northwestern province of Qinghai, while the other, a DF-21D, lifted off from Zhejiang province in the east. Both were fired into an area between Hainan province and the Paracel Islands, the source said. Landing areas were within a zone that Hainan Maritime Safety Authorities said on Friday would be off-limits because of military exercises from Monday to Saturday. The DF-26 dual-capable missile is a type of weapon banned by the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty signed by the US and Soviet Union towards the end of the Cold War. When the US withdrew from the treaty last year, it cited China's deployment of such weapons as justification. The DF-26 has a range of 4,000 kilometers or 2,485 miles and can be used in nuclear or conventional strikes against ground and naval targets. The DF-21 has a range of around 1,800 kilometers, with state media describing the most advanced in the series, the DF-21D, as the world's first anti-ship ballistic missile. Source said the missile launch was aimed at improving China's ability to deny other forces access to the South China Sea, a disputed region. This is China's response to the potential risks brought by the increasingly frequent incoming U.S. warplanes and military vessels in the South China Sea, the source said. China doesn't want the neighboring countries to misunderstand Beijing's goals. Song Zhongping, a Hong Kong-based military commentator, said the missile launches were clearly meant to send a signal to the United States. The U.S. continues to test China's bottom line in Taiwan and South China Sea issues, and this pushed China to showcase its military strength to let Washington know that even U.S. aircraft carriers cannot flex their full muscle near China's coast. China's defense ministry did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the launches. In a rare move, the People's Liberation Army is conducting drills almost simultaneously in 4 sea regions. Earlier this month, the PLA also held exercises near Taiwan to safeguard national sovereignty, exercises that coincided with U.S. Health Secretary Alex Azar's trip to the island. In July, the PLA conducted military exercises in the South China, East China and Yellow Seas, as 2 U.S. aircraft carriers conducted tactical air defense exercises in the South China Sea, maneuvers the U.S. said were in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific. Besides aircraft carriers, the U.S. has also sent numerous military jets and vessels to keep a close watch on Chinese activity. The Chinese military drills have triggered unease among its neighbors. Vietnam asked China to cancel its Paracel Islands military drills, saying they violated Vietnam's sovereignty and were detrimental to China-ASEAN talks on a South China Sea Code of Conduct. Meanwhile, China launched 4 medium-range ballistic missiles into the South China Sea on Wednesday amid broader military exercises by the People's Liberation Army, according to a U.S. defense official who asked not to be identified. The missiles landed in the sea in an area between Hainan Island and the Paracel Islands, the official said. The move came a day after Beijing protested a flyover by a U.S. spy plane and the Trump administration strengthening action against companies that helped set up outposts in the region. Separately on Wednesday, the U.S. announced trade and visa restrictions on 24 companies for their efforts to help China reclaim and militarize disputed outposts in the contested maritime area, according to a statement from the U.S. Department of Commerce. United States, China's neighbors, and the international community have rebuked the CCP's sovereignty claims to the South China Sea and have condemned the building of artificial islands for the Chinese military, said Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, using an abbreviation for the Chinese Communist Party. The entities designated today have played a significant role in China's provocative construction of these artificial islands and must be held accountable. The escalating tensions come as the Trump administration is trying to push back against what the U.S. sees as an intensifying Chinese campaign to dominate the resource-rich South China Sea and smaller nations in the region. President Donald Trump has made taking a tougher stance on China a key element of his re-election campaign against former Vice President Joe Biden, even as the two nations seek to sustain a Phase 1 trade deal reached early this year. In a related statement, Secretary of State Michael Pompeo said the U.S. will begin imposing visa restrictions on People's Republic of China individuals responsible for, or complicit in, either the large-scale reclamation, construction, or militarization of South China Sea land. A senior State Department official, speaking to reporters on customary condition of anonymity Wednesday, said the visa restrictions were the mere start of what could be more U.S. action to punish China over its reclamation work in the South China Sea. The official encouraged other countries to take similar measures against the people who were targeted to make it even harder for them to conduct business abroad. U.S. moves should be understood in China as politically motivated due to the looming November presidential election, said Wang Weiyao, an advisor to China's cabinet and founder of the Center for China and Globalization, noting that businesses on both sides are desperate to keep working together. China doesn't need to respond to that. Reversing a previous position, the administration last month for the first time explicitly rejected China's expansive maritime claims in the region, and it has pressed allies in the region to take a stronger stance. Earlier in the day, Vietnam called on China to cancel its drills this week near the Paracel Islands, saying they violated the country's sovereignty. China conducted similar missile tests in July 2019 over contested waters and islets in the South China Sea. Greg Poling, director of the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative and a fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, said the latest move was a measured step. As with most of China's foreign policy lately, it seems intended to signal strength to the domestic audience and smaller neighbors, not actually tell the U.S. anything it didn't already know, Poling said. Beijing was careful to do it within acceptable limits, firing into undisputed waters off the southern coast with due notice.